Hey guys, this is Charlie, and this is going to be the full walkthrough of Cwrproductions 2025 Summer Edition. Alright, so on the screen here we have Christopher Reeve as Superman Clark Kent from the Richard Donner 1978 version of the film. That, I believe, is the template for how to do a superhero movie well. Even though I really also enjoy the modern 2025 take of Superman as well, I feel it very respectfully respected the past and added more to it. And I feel that David Cornsweet is the best person to pull off the modern Clark Kent. So I look forward to seeing how James Gunn's universe goes. Over here we got my vinyls underneath my TV right there, with some coffee table books right there. Moving on down, we got the plushy wall of horror and Roxetta stepping away from film. Hey Roxetta. I am a cat dad and a RadTech student as well. So right over here we have my collection of the Evil Dead franchise by the Jack Nicholson Joker Funko, my DC, my Marvel, my Fox X-Men universe by the Blade Funko there, modern favorites right here, and my Predator Alien franchise, and some steel boxes by the Sigourney Weaver Ripley Funko. Right over here we have a painting from Frankensons, which is a Poison Ivy and Gambit. Right over here we have a 4x5 of Tom Hanks with the Crypt Keeper puppet. And then also some of my close friends right there. So that is my muse Elektra, Sabrina, and Danielle. Okay, moving on down. This is Sonia with her brothers and sisters here. Sonia is one of my closest friends. Her family is like an extension of my family. So right over here we got my triple changers with Slimer and Scorpion from the Spider-Man animated series, and the Shout Factory releases for Halloween and Friday the 13th, which is by another art print from Frankensons of the Crypt Keeper. My to watch pile right there. That is my Nate Funko from Creepshow, beside a mini Biff Tannen. These are my Marvel comics right here. So I got Captain Marvel, Spider-Gwen, Scarlet Witch, and Doctor Strange by an Eddie Funko from Stranger Things. Sam from Trick or Treat Studios, poster of Dido right there, and my Venom comics by my Venom Funko. And on top of that is Cosmo from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Moving on up right here, we got Eliza Dushku, Freddy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Tom Petty, my favorite singer, 8x10s. By a promo photo of Jack Nicholson Joker with Batman, Michael Keaton version. By Toys R Us sign, and another Eliza Dushku picture. Eliza Dushku is my celebrity crush from when I was younger. She was faithful on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Right here you got Trick or Treat, Sam Reef right here by my birthday balloon from this year. Thank you, Alexis, for that. Okay. Down over here, what we have is my Stephen King Sleepwalkers poster here. That was a commissioned art piece from Shout Factory. Okay, moving on up right here, we got a couple of random figures right here by my sign, which makes Cwrproductions, my home, a national landmark. So right up here, what we have, and that's a really good angle right there, the figures on my TV, with the posters. I'll have to get a picture of that later. So these are more frame posters from Shout Factory commissioned artworks, mostly, of Big Trouble in Little China, Army of Darkness, and Tales from the Crypt Demonite. Okay. A couple more miscellaneous figures going on right here. I am a collector. These are my collections. Okay. So what we have right here is a Trick or Treat Studios Curly mask beside the Spirit Halloween Michael Myers and Trick or Treat Stripe puppet. Okay. Couple different guys right here. So the movies behind the Roddy Piper figure right here, those are concert DVDs, franchise documentaries, and a few more steelbooks. That is the Wonder Woman 8x10 right there, Linda Carter version, beside the Thing poster, Gremlins 2, and Transformers. Those two movies are two VHSs when I was younger that I just ran into the ground pretty much because I love those movies so much. Okay, we got reference book section right here with Elvira NECA still in box, Tom Atkins NECA still in box, Detective Cameron from Night of the Creeps, and a few more different books that are reference books. Right over here, what we have is my EC Comics Tales from the Crypt collection by Alien Masks from Trick or Treat Studios for They Live, and some coloring books made by Fright Rags. So that's Robo, Texas Chainsaw, and Creep Show. Okay, and just a few more of my EC Comics. Moving on up right here. Up here we got my VHSs for Superman the movie and Big Trouble in Little China by Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones and Darth Vader. Okay. I'm a collector, as I said. I got a lot of different like Funkos, NECAs, Gremlins, music. I like to keep things organized, and I just feel like my home is organized the way I want it right now, as an expression of myself, because my home is me. That is John Kassir with Crypt Keeper Puppet right there from the Oils Will That Ends Well episode of Tales from the Crypt, 89 TV show. Megatron with Energon Cube right there. Moving on down, we have Angela from Gargoyles NECA. Witch Mask from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Vintage Dracula Mask from a Target last year. Nightbreed Director's Cut poster from Shout Studios. My vinyl player. Next to some VHSs for Back to the Future, Evil Dead, and Terminator, and Kate Bishop doll from Marvel. Once again, that is my friend, my best friend, Danielle, right there. She is my best lady and an inspiration in my life. Okay, moving on over here towards my desk area. Gizmo Mask, Demona, Gargoyles, NECA. Moving on up, just a few more random figures. Haunted Mask VHS. Pale Girl Terrifier. RoboCop. Saying to say no to drugs. And Combiner Wars, Thundercracker Skywarp, and Earthrise Starscream. Also, my friend Sonia right there by my desk. Sonia, as I said, her family is like my family. Okay, John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13 mini poster. Beside some Transformers and a couple other figures right there. Okay, moving on down. What we have is my VetTech library books and also some movie reference books. This is more of the reference section. We have Haunted Mask and Wolfman Mask from Cwrproductions Studios. Okay. Switching things around real quick. So what we have here is my horror movie, some franchise horror movie collections right here. So we got like Stephen King's, Chucky, Starla deciding she wanted to jump up on camera. Hey, Starla. So what we have here are my CD player, my Batman mask, Ben Affleck version, next to a Jason mask, and some of my CD collection right here behind my desk. And these movies right here, these are just a couple miscellaneous ones besides some scripts underneath my desk. This is my desk / area where my dinner table essentially. So this is where I do my work and where I eat. And a couple little stickers that I placed right there because I thought that would look cool. This side of my desk, what we have is a picture of Lauren Lavella from Terrifier 2, Sienna Shaw, Ghostbusters sign, Jaws sign, and that is a puzzle of Freddy Krueger. Those are some of my rugs right there. That's my Ghostbusters rug. And back over there is my Haunted Mansion rug. Okay, moving our way over here. That is Roxetta, the Destroyer, checking things out next door. Hey, Roxetta. Okay, so this is where my movie wall kind of starts up right here. Starts off with my Tales from the Crypts by my Tales from the Crypt Keeper bust and Elvira Cup. And a Ben Cooper figure for the vampire. So right over here we have my Universal Classics beside a Funko for Alfred Hitchcock, Leprechaun, Red Guardian, Phoebe Buffay from Friends as Buffy, Mosasaur Cup, and then also behind Red Guardian and Supergirl is my Rocky and my James Bond collection, which is basically Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan, and also Austin Powers, and a Goose plush from Captain Marvel. Okay, so what we have here are my Italian Giallo horror collection right here, and my Studio Ghibli anime collection right here. Still a work in progress, so not everything, but something small. Work in progress. Right over here, what we have is my Al Pacino, Leonardo DiCaprio, and also like Mad with No Name films. So more like actors showcases basically, and also Bruce Lee as well. Okay. Moving on down right over here. Got a couple more Blu-rays right there. Okay, so what we have here is my Arrow collection. So that starts my overseas. Beside a VHS for the Lost World, Flasher Gremlin, McCready Funko, Stripe Bookend, and a Gremlin with 3D glasses Funko. Taco Bell Chihuahua vintage from the 90s, from when I was growing up. beside Criterion and Kevin Smith Funko and VHS for Tomorrow Never Dies. Agatha Harkins from WandaVision. And then also, these are French horror films from Indicator. I organized my collection by company and release year. I figured that's the best way to go for me. Okay, so what we have here is Kino Lorber. Besides Funkos for the Creep from Creepshow, Wonder Woman Vintage, Halloween 6 VHS. Over here we just got 2 Funkos right now, so work in progress going right here. Those are the Hawkeye Funkos for Clint, Barton, and Kate Bishop. Right over here, what you have, original Firefly Funko, Jane Cobb, and its Second Sight Blu-ray collection. Moving on down right here, Jack Torrance, little mini figure that my friend Danielle got me for her birthday one year. Thank you, Danielle, as always. Beside my Umbrella releases. Umbrella is another international company in Australia that does really well in their releases. Funkos for Spider-Gwen and Captain Marvel, and a Ed the Hyena plushie. Spider-Gwen is my favorite variant of Spider-Man. It's essentially the Peter Parker storyline, but told from the perspective of if Gwen Stacy, his first love, had gotten bitten by the spider instead. So right over here we have my releases for Vestron, and also my Vinegar Syndromes beside an Avril Lavigne Funko and a Shockwave Funko from the Transformers. I like Avril Lavigne, the first album, Let Go, essentially, because that for me is vintage high school, because that was my senior year of high school when that came out. So that's what I always associate her first album with, for me, is high school. A couple of releases from Scream Factory right there. So those are their Hammer Horror selections, and some Christopher Lee vampire movies. I have a much bigger selection of Shout Factory up here. Let's start down here and work my way up, actually. Okay, so those are my favorite Shout Factory releases right there, beside some of my favorite Kino Lorber and Arrow releases on top. It's pretty awesome stuff right here. Those are my NECA Spider Mohawk and Mogwais, also from NECA Gremlins 2, the new batch Mogwais. Moving on up right here, what you have is Leatherface with a Captain America mask helmet. Amazing Spider-Man 2 plush from when Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out and I was still working at Regal. I actually won that from the claw machine my last night when I was working at that Regal in Las Vegas before I moved back to Covina. And then that is a Gutter Garbs Batman commission poster, which is amazing and I love it. Okay. Just a couple more of my heroes that I really didn't spotlight. So like I said, Spider-Gwen, my favorite variant of Spider-Man. My man Gambit right here. Captain Marvel, one of my favorite strong women in comics. I really like her comic variant. Maybe slightly more than the film, but I feel Brie Larson is doing the best she can with that role. That is a Scarlet Witch doll from Marvel right there. Probably the most powerful person in the MCU is Scarlet Witch. And then that is a plush for the Facehugger. Okay, so moving on over here, what you have is my Mosasaur figure beside another vintage Taco Bell Chihuahua. My Vegas sign beside a Bartleby and Loki minifig from Kevin Smith's Dogma. Star-Lord mask with an LED light inside to cause it to light up. My Dream Warriors VHS beside a figure of Eddie from Stranger Things. Freddy Krueger glove, Dream Warriors version. And more Marvels right there. Those are my Amazing Spider-Mans and Avengers comics right there. That's the way I like to do my comics, is I like them in that graphic novel form because they just sit better on the shelf. That is my RoboCop poster right there. Beside a DVD of Mallrats, Creep from Creepshow in a ghost trap, holding on to a Umbrella release VHS for Late Night with the Devil, one of my favorite found footage movies of last year, and also my Halloween 2 pumpkin from Spirit Halloween. Couple more masks right here. So you have Cowboy Freddy, Frankenstein, and Leatherface. This angle right here. So you have vintage X-Men and Spider-Man figures from the 90s for Rogue and Carnage. A Ghost Neutrino wand right there from Ghostbusters Afterlife. So plushes for Ash Williams, Captain Marvel, Marty McFly, and Spider-Gwen. My Art of Marvel books. Reagan mask from The Exorcist, and Soundwave mask, also with an LED light inside of it to make it pop. Snorlax with a Endoraptor mask on. And then beside Soundwave is my Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comics. As I said, those stack up really well on a shelf. So what we have right here, mini poster for Freddy's Nightmares that was released by Gutter Garbs, another commissioned artwork, and a few more of my reference books spillage over on this side here. And some Stephen King books as well, because beside this is my Stephen King collection right here. Stephen King is one of my favorite authors. I have a lot of his books, and behind those books that you see are more books that are in my to-read pile of Stephen King. That's a mini poster for The Gates of Hell. Another poster of Elijah Dushku. Moving on up right here, that is my Hammond Collection Brachiosaur. Beside a Wonder Woman standee from a Doritos display, I believe, for Wonder Woman 84. I got that from Walmart when I was still working for Walmart from a display that they were throwing out. So I was able to cut that and save it for myself. This is my now playing display for my vinyl albums whenever I have my vinyl going. My vinyl player, in case I forgot to mention, is right over here by Roxetta, who's chilling out. That's honestly the most cost-effective way that I've decided to do my vinyls, is in that suitcase, because it saves up space. What we have right here are Shout Factory releases for the Roger Corman collection, and also some Larry Kaufman movies. That is another mini postcard for Sienna Shaw of the Terrifier 2 series in her Valkyrie costume. So we'll move up right over here. What we have are the Trick or Treat studio releases of the Mogwai puppets of Mohawk and Daffy. And then we got my Dinobots. Those are my Studio Series 86 releases. Right over here, you have some 4Ks that were released by Shout Factory. and some other 4K. So this is like a 4K wall. I don't have a 4K player or TV. I just have a region-free Blu-ray player. But eventually, someday, I might have a 4K, so I just have that little collection going right there. And that is a Ben Cooper Alien figure. So what we have over here is we have vintage Constructicons beside my little milk rack of favorite movies right here as well, with Bone Crusher punching his way through. So yeah, those are just some of like my favorite movies of all time right there. Right up here we have a Mutilator poster, some concert ticket stubs, and my friend Danielle from when we went to go see Collective Soul in Vegas for my 40th birthday. Buddy Christ, Liz Fair. Moving around up here, we got just kind of like a wall of Funkos behind my Spider-Man No Way Home Funkos. Vintage Ghostbuster newspaper article there. Some Studio Ghibli mini prints. Camp Crystal Lake sign. Terrifier 2 poster. And a few more NECAs. Loose out of box. And then that, beside Freddy, is Elvira as Darth Vader that I put together myself. I thought that was awesome. Okay, so two of my favorite movies right here. That is Biff's gang from Back to the Future. Hello, young Billy Zane. And Ripley with the Colonial Marines from Aliens. Couple loose little figures right there by a fan. My mug collection. Moving up right over here, we have an Invisible Woman tin sign beside a picture of Sabrina. My friend Brina, one of my closest friends from when I was living in Vegas. She sees the best in me and just is my constant inspiration to keep doing my best. Same with all doing in my life. They are just inspirations for me to do my best. So I try not to let them down. That is my Dawn of the Dead mini poster right there. Beside a Batman mini poster and an Escape from New York mini poster. Escape from New York was directed by my favorite director, John Carpenter. There's also another John Carpenter right over here for The Fog, and a Brie Larson as Captain Marvel mini. I like this section of posters right here because I aesthetically put the ones that have the white borders together. So they just kind of flowed right here in my kitchen really, really well. And yeah, so that is basically a list of my favorite movies of all time. I keep a list of it to just remind myself and inspire me as a writer as well. It inspires me as a writer because it gives me ideas for my own movies to just kind of have my favorites organized. Okay, so as I said, my favorite movies of all time, Back to the Future and Aliens. Mini posters for those by my Stephen Kings. Hi, Onyx. That is a Michael Madison poster from Reservoir Dogs. And back over here, I just want to make sure I hit on this guy right here. That is a Shout Factory release for Halloween 2. I put that one there in particular because Halloween 2 is my favorite of the Halloween sequels. I feel, even though it's retcons, it's one of my favorites because it feels the closest to the original Halloween, because it's basically taking place on the same night. And also it introduced that idea of Laurie Strode being Michael Myers' sister. And I'm one of the few that actually really likes that idea in concept because it gives him more humanity and a reason for why he was doing what he was doing. So we'll move on up here. What we have Another few dozen loose figures right here on shelves by my door. My Kitty Pryde and Wonder Girl Cwrproductions. Really cool mini poster for Spider-Man No Way Home. That should have been the... Well, of course, they wanted to keep its secret what that movie was, essentially, which was a love letter to the Spider-Man fans. But I feel that should definitely have stayed as the official poster once the secret was out, because I thought that was a really awesome piece of art right there. So that is a Megatron beside some Insecticon figures right there. Insecticons weren't always my favorite Decepticons. They were just kind of throwaway villains, but I really like the design of those figures. Okay, so those are Batman's villains from the Batman movie from the 60s. So that is Lee Merriweather as Catwoman, Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, Burgess Meredith as the Penguin, and Cesar Romero as the Joker, beside the Phantom, Billy Zane. Also Cowboy Billy Zane and Denise Richards right there. Cowboy Billy Zane is from Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. Tales from the Crypt, in case you couldn't tell, is one of my favorite shows of all time growing up. Millennium Falcon figure right there, beside a few arbitrary Blu-rays and DVDs, with some plushies punching out there. Okay. Popcorn bucket for Superman right there from the Superman 2025. He's saving the Super Pants with his heat vision. Vintage card collections right there. So that's Tales from the Crypt, Gremlins 2, Dick Tracy, just a couple of different random cards that I put together from when I was younger. A few more random books right there. And then also, we're just going to backtrack up here, because I didn't really hit on this right here. Black suited vintage Spider-Man. Another Kotobuyaku, a Batwoman. It's a really great design right there. And that is the Jurassic World Rebirth popcorn bucket right there, with a couple figures on the inside trying to get their way out. And comic book guy, because it's the worst popcorn bucket ever. Okay, a couple other Funkos right there. And honestly, my favorite Superman. Yay! Christopher Reeve was just an inspiration. He really was. Okay, so what we have right here, Jurassic Park Funko. Beside Friday the 13th Camp Crystal Lake Counselor costume. Beside Lightning from Big Trouble Little China. And some Harley Quinns from Frank and Sons. And Sabrina and Sonia. What we have right here, more posters. I do love mini posters because aesthetically you can put more and it's space friendly right there. So Demolition Man by RoboCop 2. My hat collection beside Locke from Nightmare Before Christmas, and my hats. And that is where my Return of the Living Dead poster, mini poster now wound up right there. What we have right here is a retro redo of the Constructicons, one of my favorite groups from Transformers. This is the hero version of them still in box. And that's my Cwrproductions Mancave sign right there. Working my way over here. As I said, Halloween 2, one of my favorite of the sequels. Tom Petty, my favorite singer. And another print of Miss Marvel. Okay. Just a few more like mini posters and different kind of things here. My pin wall right there Working my way over here. Okay, Chris Evans, Captain America poster, Elvira. A couple other little guys right there. Charmander with a gizmo hat. My washer dryer. This is very important for me. Those are Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare 3D glasses that Movie Dumpster put out when they did a live stream for Freddy's Dead, a Patreon watch, and I got them to sign it for me, so that's very special to me. A few more pictures of my girls right there on my washer dryer. As I said, they inspire me to just be the best I can. Couple mini magnets right there with some movie posters from movies that I liked growing up right there. The 3 shells from Demolition Man. And that is a rug right there of Chucky from Child's Play. What we have right here is a mini poster for Deep Blue Sea. Captain America poster. And like a superhero cosplay wall right here. Some of my favorite superhero, female superheroes right there. Okay, scroll down right there. Hi guys. Okay, a couple figures up here. Jurassic Park figures right here. We got Kitty Pryde, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, and his love Gwen Stacy right there. Besides some Frankenstein's prints that I hung up on the wall right there. Few different various art cards from Umbrella and Arrow from different releases that they did. Ash vs. Evil Dead mini poster. Bubba Hotep mini poster. And my to read wall. So these are all books that I intend to read at some point. I just decided to put them in here because it was better access for the ones that I meant to read. And then that's also my Goosebumps collection right there, beside another vampire, Ben Cooper. Poster for Avengers Infinity War. That is my Toothless plush that goes to the movies with me. That is a shoulder plush from the 2025 version of How to Train Your Dragon. Couple loose Funkos in box. A few figures in box here. And then that is a Mohawk Mogwai that Danielle sent me for Christmas. That I thought was pretty awesome. Okay. A couple more mini posters right here. So Die Hard, Nightmare on Elm Street, Original Classic, Jurassic Park 3D, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight mini poster, and then Terminator and Halloween 4. Now the last room is the bedroom. So what we have right here is my Pennywise Funhouse sign from Spirit Halloween. Laurie Strode, Michael Myers from Spirit Halloween also. Tank Girl mini poster from Umbrella releasing. Couple of minifigures still in box. Angela figure from Night of the Demon, mini poster from Night of the Demons. The Thing, John Carpenter commissioned artwork. Shirts and various face hugger right there. And then also my Marvels jersey. And then right over here, more shirts. Few more shirts right there. And then right over here, so what we have is my Hansel and Gretel that I got. That was online. So I did originally have a bigger poster for this one from when I was still working at a theater. I did have a Hansel and Gretel one, but it eventually got damaged and I just wound up throwing it out and got this one to replace it. Umbrella release for Super Mario, commission artwork for Transformers the movie from Shout, faculty mini poster. As I said, these women are an inspiration in my life. They see me for who I am and they inspire me to keep doing the best and being the best person that I am. Okay. A little more comic spillage right here. Some loose figures. Nightmare on Elm Street mini cards that came from last year's Warner release. 4K release. Night of the Creeps commission artwork. Vintage Tales from the Crypt VHS poster. Bull T-Rex beside Captain Marvel and America Chavez dolls. Onslaught from the Transformers. Bates Motel sign. I gotta put a new battery in that one. The battery went out on it. Oh well. Mini posters for Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors. The best of the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels. And Fright Night. Inglorious Bastards mini poster that came with the Arrow release. Another shot of Ripley with the Marines from Aliens. Vintage Crypt Keeper from the 90s. Couple more white corner releases right there for Big Trouble Little China, Friday the 13th, and Evil Dead. Besides an Eliza Dushku mini poster from True Calling. And then a few more of those art prints from Transformer releases. The Rhino DVD releases. And then another Frankensons art print right there. Okay. Right over here, some Star Wars figures standing behind the shuttle from Transformers the movie. I thought that was a pretty awesome display to do like that right there. As I said, Let Go just reminds me of senior year in high school. So that's why I had that there. And a couple of little gifts from my friend John. Those are releases. Poster releases that came with the new releases for The Flash and Super Mario that you would normally find in the entertainment section when the new releases come out. So those are special to me, especially now since you don't see very many new release walls at Walmart or Target. You see vinyls, but you don't see new releases very often because they decided to not do those anymore. Because there's Amazon, and Amazon pretty much rules the world. Okay, so that is a release from when, that's a poster from the release for the Hunger Games right there from when I was still working for Regal. So that's definitely one that is authentic. Hunger Games Catching Fire. Typo negative release poster that I got for Bloody Kisses. Couple mini posters right there. And then let me just backtrack over here because I want to close on one thing that I forgot to go over right here because of the angle that it was at. So right over here, hi Starla, is one more vintage Star Trek Into Darkness poster. That was also from the actual physical release when it came out in theaters. So That's vintage. That is special to me. And like a lot of my posters, that's always just going to be around. Okay, so we are good. I hope you guys enjoyed this walkthrough. I think I hit on everything that I wanted to hit on. The next release I do will be next year when I get my Hot Toys figures going on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Y'all take care now. Peace.